In this video, we're going to go through the physics and cloth simulation in Blender. The version of Blender that we're using is Blender version 2.83. We're going to make a scene like this one, where we have a flag falling on top of a wooden block. So let's get started. When you open Blender, you are taken to the default scene. The scene consists of a camera, a mesh, and a light source. We're going to use the default cube for this tutorial. With the cube selected, let's go to the modifier section, which is the range. So if you click on the range, add modifier, then you go to add subdivision surface, then we'll add this to 3, simple, okay? We're going to add the cloth, which we're going to turn into our flag. So to do that, go to add, mesh, plane, click G, Z, and move it upwards. So we just place it somewhere there. It's going to fall from that position. We need to scale the cloth so that when it falls off, it drapes around the cube. So to scale, click S and we'll scale to an appropriate size. For us to be able to change this mesh into a cloth, we need to add more faces or more geometry. At the moment, we only have one face, but we need to subdivide this into many faces. So to do that, go to object mode, change this to edit mode, right click, subdivide, then go to the subdivision parameters, then type in your parameter here. I'll put 60. So as you can see, we now have all those faces so that our cloth can fold nicely. This is important because we want the cloth to fold. Now go back to object mode. The next step now is we're going to go into the physics section, which is this one here. If you click on the physics section, click cloth, we're going to change a few parameters here. So you see what it says quality steps, we're going to change this to 12. Then you go to the collision section, we're also going to change this to 6. Then we're going to tick self collision. Now go to the cube, tick collision, so that when this cloth falls, it doesn't go through it. So by turning on collision, they will collide with each other, which is what we want. So now if you just play this, see what happens. Okay, so you can see that our simulation is already starting to work. Okay, I'll stop that, go back. So at this stage, what you need to do is you need to back this simulation. So to do that, you go down to the cache area where it says cache, then you click back. So this will take a while, so I'll just fast forward and we'll carry on. So the backing is complete. Now, with the flag still highlighted, we're going to add a modifier. So go to modifier, add modifier, subdivision surface, and on the subdivision surface, we're going to change this parameter here, which is the number of subdivisions, to 3, and also on the viewport, we're going to change this to 3 as well. Then we're going to change this to simple. To give this a thickness, we're going to add another modifier. So add modifier again, solidify. We'll just leave the thickness there at 0.01. For the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to add another source of light, which is the sun. So to do that, go to add, light, sun. Select the sun, G, move it up there, then click R to rotate, then rotate it so that it points to our scene. We can delete the default light source. At this stage, if you go here, where it says render properties, just make sure you're using the Cycles render. This render engine has got more quality. I prefer that, but you can use either of these ones also. So if I click Cycles render, then you need to update the render sampling. The higher this value is, the higher the quality of your animation. I will change this to 400. We want to change the background into a just white background. So to do that, you go to the world settings, which is this one, click world, then you see color. We're going to change this to just pure white. So now I want to change the material for the cloth. So if you click on it and go to the material section, click new material, change this to glossy, click on that button on the color. You want to add an image texture, click open, browse to where your files are, choose the flag that you want to wrap around. So I'm just choosing that flag there. Now select the cube and create material for the cube. With the cube selected, go to material and change the image texture as well. Open, browse to your textures, and we're going to use a wood texture. This should be all we need. If we just play this, so I'm happy with that. Then I can show you if we change this to more of a render view, and if we play that again. So this is before we have rendered it. That's why you see it slow like this. But as you can see, our scene is finished now. Okay, so I'm just going to pause here. I'm going to show you how you render. So to render, you need to first prepare your render. So you click output properties. Then this is the output. The default path is temporary folder. You can change this, browse to the folder you want to save your final render, give it a name, then you accept. So once you accept, you have your path there. Then the next thing you need to do is you need to specify the format. By default it's PNG, which means it will generate all the images, but you don't want to do that. You want to generate a video. So what you do is you click here and you can choose any of these three formats. So normally I just use a VI raw. Once you give all this information, you are ready to render. So to render, go to render, then you render the animation. That's all for today, folks. Can you please share this video with your friends and family? Like, subscribe, and see you in the next lesson.